I've been at the police station since 2 in the morning. This is the
The
first
party
time
is over for Kim Long, but her quality time with Corona police is just getting started.
Oh, life is over. He was my life.
As she bounces off the walls of this interrogation room, her belly still full of booze. She's not just under the influence, but under suspicion.
No.
Is this the case of if you find the body, you're automatically a suspect?
That's almost automatic in law enforcement. You have to put that person as a potential suspect until you can rule them out.
Former FBI agent and ABC consultant Steve Gomez has studied the police file.
They get the autopsy back, and what does it tell them?
The object that was used to strike Ozzy was some type of long object, such as a bat or a golf club.
Could a relatively petite, 5'3", 4 woman who weighs 130 pounds, could she have done that?
If she was angry enough, absolutely she could have done this.
We return to the house with Bill Sylvester, an investigator for Kim's defense team.
The crime that occurred was in this room.
The current residents allowed us inside.
All right, so this is very similar to the way it was, and the argument is this is where the suspect was, doing something like this. There were blood spatters found on every wall in this room, ceiling, the floor, this door, and out this door into the garage.
Two things are noticeably absent at the scene. For one, the murder weapon, which to this day has never been recovered. And two, despite the bloody crime scene, not a speck of blood was found on the cops' prime suspect, Kim Long. Not on those jeans, that black shirt, that belt.
Can you understand why police found that a little suspicious? I mean,
Not
you were
really.
so clean that something smelled rotten.
Well, that's just because I wasn't there when it happened.
The cops begin to formulate a theory that Kim came home still angry, beat Ozzy to death, disposed of the murder weapon, and cleaned herself up before dialing 911. But she's got an alibi witness, at least she thought she did, Jeff Dills, the biker friend who brought her over to his house and into his hot tub that night.
Did anything happen in the jacuzzi?
No.
Do you and Jeff have anything going on?
No.
Well, that's not true, and when Jeff Dills comes in for questioning, his story isn't just different, it's damning.
Did she say anything about not to say anything about the night before?
She says the cops are going to want to talk to you. I said, that's fine, no problem. And then I said, did you tell them that we She says, no, I didn't. She said, please don't tell them that.
Why lie about having sex with Jeff Dills? You're possibly a suspect for murder.
Yeah, I was just embarrassed. Like, who wants to tell him, oh yeah, by the way, I ran off with some other dude. Having sex with somebody doesn't make you a murderer.
True, but your lover's statements just might. Dills continues to bury Kim, telling police she had a motive.
She's, man, I could just kick his you know, that kind of thing. Or I want to kick his I don't remember the exact words.
And worst of all, opportunity. Dills tells cops he dropped Kim off back at the house much earlier than Kim claimed. He says he knows because he checked the clock when he got home.
I remember noting the time was 1:36. I'm thinking going backwards from the 1:36, I had to drop her off between 1:20 and 1:30.
Long didn't call 911 for help until 2:09 that morning, leaving up to 49 unaccounted minutes with Ozzy, and according to police, giving her ample time to commit the crime and clean herself up. At that moment, the cops are convinced they had their killer.
Did Kim Long ever give a reasonable explanation for what she may have been doing for 50 minutes in the house?
She always denied that it was that long.
But if Kim's a killer, she's a cooperative one,
Reassurance on that.
agreeing to take a polygraph test.
Probability of you being deceptive is less than 0.01%.
Meaning, according to that technician, there's virtually no chance she's lying. That doesn't stop the cops from pressing her in a follow-up interview, during which she breaks into hysterics.
Jeff, didn't you tell him to move his stuff out that night? If you love him so much, why did you tell Ozzy to leave?
Drunk and I've been
Off to crack his head open?
No!
1 month after Ozzy's murder, a now stoic Kim Long finds herself under arrest for bludgeoning to death a man who was once her teenage crush.
I'm gonna remain silent. I'm not gonna say anything at all until I have a lawyer attorney with me.
When you reviewed the police reports, did anything stand out?
Yeah, we were missing something. I remember going to the attorney and say, this cannot possibly be the whole case. Somebody did it, and the real problem that we have in this case is investigators and the DA developed tunnel vision on one suspect.
Kim's defense team insists that Kim shouldn't have been the only suspect. That's because Ozzy Conde may have been a great guy, but he sure had his share of enemies. Here's one of them.
I mean, do you hate this guy?
I did, yes.
Meet Joe Bogarski, Kim's ex-husband, the father of her son, the man she dropped like a bad habit when she got reacquainted with Ozzy.
She kicks you out of the house, brings him in to live with your kids.
Right. And then within the same week, he moves in.
Kim's attorneys claim this laid-back construction worker then became an obsessed cuckold who stalked Kim after she dumped him, hiding in her bushes, peeping in her windows.
I was pretty pissed, very upset. I mean, how would any other man feel? I'm like, what kind of guy moves into some house and you're not even divorced?
Well, and if anybody in the world had a motive to kill the man, it's you.
Right. I mean, I'm not the violent type to that extent to kill someone, but I didn't like the situation.
Could Joe, Kim's ex-husband, be the killer? No way, he says. He was home that night with witnesses to prove it. But he's not the only suspect Kim floated.
You had a theory of who did it.
Yes.
That you said during the interrogation.
Yeah, there was only one person that didn't like us.
Didn't like? Try burning hatred.
Do you have any idea who would have done something to who?
Is that?
She's talking about this woman. We've agreed to change her name. We're calling her Cynthia. Kim's defense team has dubbed her Ozzy's jealous ex, a woman scorned. And she calls Kim...
That woman is the devil's child herself.
Devil's child.
Devil's child. There's no doubt in my mind. I know she killed him. And I know she doesn't even care. And it makes me sick.
Cynthia and Ozzy were together for 8 years. They raised 2 kids together, one theirs, one hers from a previous relationship. She says those were the good times.
He liked to spend time with his family a lot. He was a wonderful father.
But when Kim came on the scene, she says the situation turned sour.
My son had come home and he told me that he saw Kimberly punch Ozzy in the face. That was not okay with me. So I stopped Ozzy's visitation.
From there, the drama only escalated.
She had just made our lives a living hell.
What did she do?
She called, she harassed, she threatened. She wanted money from Ozzy. It was a constant battle.
I mean, I wasn't happy with her. I was pretty pissed off at Kim.
In the polygraph interview after the murder, the cops want to know if her hatred for Kim extended to Ozzy.
Have you ever made any comments that, hey, I wished Ozzy was dead?
I did say things like that toward his girlfriend, Kim. I just wish I could kill her.